Hi and welcome to this episode of Kapow with Pitu. So, I lived in Chicago for a really long time and I had a lot of visitors, lots of family, lots of friends who visited me. But I think my most favorite visitor who visited me in Chicago was my Nani, my maternal grandmother. So, during her visit, she was not interested in any of the places I wanted to take her to. So, at one point, I'm like, where do you want to go? You don't want to see Field Museum. You don't want to go to the Art Institute. You don't want to go here. You don't want to go to the Museum of Science. Where do you want to go? So she said, I don't know, in Chicago, do you have a temple? And I'm like, a temple? I don't know. I mean, I assume so. I've never been to one. Why do you even want to go to a temple? Now, bear in mind, my Nani lived in Mumbai. Okay, if you live in Mumbai, there is a temple at every naka, every kopra. There is a temple everywhere. लोगों के घर में personal छोटा सा temple होता है. Building compound में temple होता है. Like there are like myriads of gods and myriads of temples, and like temples are so popular and like populous in Mumbai. You live in Mumbai, you can go to any temple whenever you want. You want to come all the way to Chicago and go to a temple, really? So I was like, why do you want to go to a temple? Which you wanted to go to a temple. So we asked like some people and they were like, oh, there's a Ram temple in Lemont. And we were like, where is Lemont? It was like somewhere off in the boonies and there was this Ram temple and we took Nani there and I was like, do you want to go to the Ram temple? And she was like, yes. We were like, okay. Then someone told us that there's like a Swami Narayan temple. So I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, where this is, what is Swami Narayan? Do you want to go there? And Nani was like, yes. So we went to the Swami Narayan temple. Then someone told us about some like Ayyappa temple. I was like, I don't know who Ayyappa is. Do you want to go to the Ayyappa temple? My Nani was like, yes. So now at this point, we're starting to run out of temples. Okay, these are the 3 temples we've heard of. We're like, aur kaun sa temple hai bhai? So Ajit says, do you think she might be interested in the Baha'i temple? And I'm like, I don't know, the Baha'i faith, that's not even Hindu. I mean, they call it a temple, but I don't know, I'll ask her. I was like, do you want to go to the Baha'i temple? Just FYI, it's not Hindu. My Nani is like, yes, let's go to the Baha'i temple. I was like, fine. So we went to the Baha'i temple. Now at this point, I was really bored of this like temple yatra we'd been doing because I've never been one for going to temples. So at this point I'm getting really bored and I was like, if we're going to the Baha'i temple, I want to make a quick trip to Northwestern University. At least kuch to dekho yaar, kuch to wahan ka architecture dekho. There'll be this nice cerebral atmosphere. We'll see people of our age. All we've been doing is going to temples and watching aartis and pujas and all these like balding old men and women everywhere. Let's go to Northwestern. So we went to Northwestern and my Nani didn't have much interest in that either. And we're leaving and in the parking lot, as we're getting into the car, we see this young guy. He was American, he was white. And this is the depth of winter and this fellow is wearing a cotton dhoti. He's wearing socks and chappals. And he's wearing like a puffer jacket at least and gloves and all. But he has like a choti and he's standing in the parking lot. And I was like, ye kaun hai? What questionable fashion choices in winter? And he stops us. He looks at my Nani, he stops us and he says, excuse me, do you have Krishna consciousness? And I'm like, Krishna who? He's like, Krishna, our Lord, Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Do you have Krishna consciousness? I was like, I mean, I know Krishna, sure, yeah, okay. And my Nani is like, yes, Krishna, Arjun, Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Gita Rahasya, Krishna Uvach. And he's like, yes. And then he's like, it's Hindu. It's like, you know, the ISKCON and it's Hinduism. And my Nani is like, yes, Hindu, India. So he's like, you're Indian, you're Hindu. Duh, my Nani is wearing a sari. She's got one big bindi on her head. What else did you think we were? And then he's like, have you been to Krishna Bhumi? And I was like, we've been to Mathura and we've been to Vrindavan. So yes, kinda, sorta. He's like, you've been to Vrindavan? You've been to Mathura? You should have seen his face. He was so rabid. He was like almost foaming at the mouth. His eyes were like glazed over in his face. So he was looking at us as if we are like, you know, like Bhagwan ka avatar or something. I was a little scared for our safety, I have to admit. Like he was like pouncing on us. So I was like, yeah, we've been to Vrindavan, we've been to Mathura. It wasn't that big a deal also, okay? So as we're leaving, he gives my Nani a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. It's written in English, by the way, which she can't read. And he also gives us a pamphlet and invites us for a satsang. I was like, what's a satsang? I have no idea what that is. He's like, satsang, where we pray together. And I'm like, do you mean satsang? And he's like, yes. So I was like, okay, shady, but okay. So we get into the car and I'm like, pata nahi kahan se aa jate, who is this white boy and why is he inviting us to a satsang? I mean, Nani's like, when are we going? I'm like, we're not going. This is some sort of scheme. This is some Ponzi scheme. This is some this trick, this scam people have figured out. They're going to kidnap us and they're going to ask for money. And by the way, we don't have enough money for ransom, okay? So we'll all like get, thrown into some dungeon. We're not going there. And Nani's like, no, let's go. I want to go to that satsang that nice boy invited us to. So I'm like, So the next day, of course, we go over there and we look at the address and we look at the building and I'm like, this does not look like a temple, because we were standing in front of a church. It was actually a very beautiful stone church and it had stained glass windows. But here's the thing, there was a cross outside and there was stained glass window of Jesus and the apostles. I was like, this is clearly a church. It's not a temple. Why are we here? And then we see all these people going in. And it was like a United Colors of Benetton ad, I kid you not. There were white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, all type K people, all ages, colors, everything. A lot of the women were wearing cotton saris. Again, very questionable outfit choice in the depths of winter in the frozen tundra that is Chicago. Lots of people had chotis. And I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. So anyway, I was like, maybe we should kalti maro, but we couldn't kalti maro because my Nani, who couldn't walk, who had really severe arthritis, has gripped my mother's arm with a death grip, and the two of them are racing into this church. So we're like, I guess too late, we have to follow them. So we go into the church. They had maintained the architecture of the church, so there were pews everywhere. There was a big statue of Mother Mary, and in front of Mother Mary there was a statue of Krishna and Yashoda. And I was like, ye kya ho raha hai, boss? There were people playing dholki, people singing, people dancing, people who looked like they were in some sort of trance. It was very strange. So we sit down in the pew and I'm thinking, I whispered to Ajit, we'll be here for 5 minutes and we'll leave, okay? I don't know what this shit is. So my Nani's sitting over there. And then suddenly this guy starts singing. This white guy in a choti, he comes in the front and he starts singing a song that I had never heard of. He had a beautiful voice, but he's crooning. So it sounds like this. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radharamana Jaya Jaya. And I'm like, ye kya ho raha hai? I mean, is this a bhajan? Is this a Krishna bhajan? Because it doesn't sound like a bhajan. Bhajans are sung by the likes of Anup Jalota and they are sleep-inducingly boring, okay? This guy sounds like he belongs in a nightclub. He sounds like he belongs in a cabaret. He's literally crooning. He has these bedroom eyes and he's going, Govinda Jaya Jaya. I'm like, what? I was very scandalized, I have to tell you. So, but my Nani's lapping it up. My Nani loves it. My Nani's like, Jaya, Jaya. She's clapping and everything. My mother is enjoying herself. It's only Ajit and me who are looking at all these people with suspicion. So he finishes the song. Everyone claps. Everyone is like, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Ye, wo chanting shuru hota hai. Then my Nani says, I'm going to go get darshan. I'm like, कौन सा दर्शन, किसका दर्शन? There is Mother Mary, उसके ऊपर Jesus और apostles है, तू किसका दर्शन लेगी? I mean, Nani is like, I will take darshan. I'm like, take. So she goes ahead, she matha takos, then she wants to get prasad from someone, some random person gives her prasad, they give her flowers and all to take home. They give her another copy of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm like saying to my Nani, how many Bhagavad Gitas are you collecting? In your house in Mumbai, you have a Bhagavad Gita in Marathi, you have one in Sanskrit, you have books on the Bhagavad Gita. You want this Bhagavad Gita in English also now. She's collecting everything they're giving her. She's very thrilled. And all the people over there, this United Colors of Benetton cast, loved my Nani. Okay, they loved her. Because I think she gave them street cred. Here was this actual bona fide Indian Hindu person who was born into the faith, who has been to Brindavan and Mathura and all. And she knows what she's doing. And it's almost like you're getting legitimacy from her being over there, right? Because everyone else just looks a little out of place, I guess. So they loved her. They were all over her. Everyone was coming and smiling at her and chatting with her. And then while we were talking, we suddenly saw that guy, the guy who had accosted us in the Northwestern parking lot. And he comes and he's like, you came. He was so happy. He was like, you finally came. I was hoping you will come to the satsang. And I was like, bhai, tu stop saying satsang. It's satsang. But he was so delighted, and my Nani was also so happy to see him. She was like, "Kitti chan mulga hai." She's like, she's like kissing him. She's like, "Kitti chan mulga hai." She's giving him ashirwad and everything. My mother is giving him ashirwad. I have no idea what was going on. I mean, well, Ajit and I had like these sarpus just standing in the back, like, "Ye kya ho raha hai?" And anyway, so this whole like situation we were in happened, and no one accosted us, no one kidnapped us. That was just me being over dramatic, and we left this place. And it was really weird because 2 years after my Nani's Chicago visit, she unfortunately passed away. And after that, every time I would go to India, whenever we would meet like extended family or friends and people that I didn't meet very often, sometimes they'd be chatting and they'd be like, "Are you the grandchild who lives in Chicago?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the one and only." So they'd be like, "So you're the one who took Nani to that amazing temple?" I'm like, "Which temple? Please specify." We went to 4-5 temples with this woman. Which temple did we go to? So they're like, "The temple where the white person was singing a song and they all these white people were in saris." It's like, people were so fascinated by this very exotic encounter we had. So I was like, yeah, I'm the one who took her to that place, yes. And people wanted to ask us details, and people would relate things to me. Like one of my mother's distant cousins, she was like, "That boy asked you if you've been to Vrindavan and Mathura." And I was like, "Yeah, how do you know this?" Because my Nani had gone and told everyone about this amazing experience of hers. So it was really funny because this trip of hers was like such a battle of wills. I mean, we had a great time, but it involved me constantly trying to get Nani to do the things I like, namely weird nerdy shit, and her trying to get me to do things she likes, which is grandma type of shit, right? So it was like the weirdest experience ever. But to this day, if I see like an ISKCON thing or people with a choti or something, I immediately remember my Nani. And if you have any funny visits to temples, or just any funny anecdotes about when your Nani and you traveled somewhere, or she visited you, or any grandparent for that matter, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for watching this episode of Kappa with Pitu. And remember, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Thanks for watching. Bye.